Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News, and I'm your host, Ellie Holder, and this is weather and lifestyle news. Niland, California, Southern California, swarm of earthquakes. They're feeling them. These are in the fours, and they're very, very shallow. Now, I looked through the news to see if anybody had reported this, and they're not. None other than local news media and the USGS. And what they're saying is that there is a swarm, and they've been having many of them. Um, and so Southern California is alive. What does it mean? You know, it usually it will go north or south for something bigger. Does that mean it'll go to San Francisco? You guys remember 1989 with the World Series when I think it was. I'm, I don't want to quote the wrong freeway, but the freeway sandwiched. And I rode on that freeway so many times, and I thought, you know what? If that upper deck goes, we're in trouble. And you know why I thought that way? Is because San Francisco always has earthquakes. So there you have it right there. Uh, so I'll get on to the earthquakes, and we got other stuff too. Lots of low Melinda. Well, there was a Loma Linda in California. William. William's in here saying Melinda. There was a Loma Linda, California. Um, and actually some schools named after Loma Linda. Uh, everybody says, well, what do you think of California now? And, I took my grandkids out there, and I'm disappointed in San Francisco. But San Francisco, I knew, you kind of knew early on that it was heading that direction. Um, and as well as Los Angeles and um, uh, Stockton, Sacramento. You just kind of knew it was heading where it is today. And, I'm just going to end it at that. Boy, William, well, me and William's got a great show coming up. And then tomorrow, I think I'm going to start on, it's a multi-part um, special report that I think everyone should watch. I don't care if you're a Democrat or it's time to expose the political elite. All right. I'm not going to get too much into it. Now, wow. We had Typhoon Kwan that totally devastated Taiwan. But now they're saying Okinawa is being hit very hard. That typhoon over there is very, very strong. And so, and we haven't even got into the second half of ours hurricane season. And we're going into the second half of tornado season in the South. So, lo and behold, we're going to have to wait. And what do we got for winter? Is everybody ready for winter yet with all this heat? Get this, 118 right now here. That's what it's reading for me. I looked right before I came in here. It was 106 degrees heat index at 10 o'clock this morning. So, um, boy, people need to stick around. Wait for the good stuff, you know? Uh, uh, so, with that, let me get this going. You guys, this is just devastating. These are very small islands for a typhoon, or they call it a typhoon, we call it a hurricane. All right, so wow, that's all I could say is when you see the islands south of Florida get hit with some of these hurricanes, and you see the devastation, it's wow. And so all you could do is say wow, or you can send aid and help and send whatever. But how do we really know that they're going to get this stuff? Because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If you know somebody that knows someone down there in one of these islands, it's best to go through them. and see what they need and see a better way. All right. Oh boy, this has been really mean to me today. And I'm not sure why. It is, there we go. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and take it as it popped up. I'm still having issues, and I'm not sure why. We've revamped, restarted, everything to the computer, and it's still delaying my pictures coming up. All right, here we go.
Economy has lashed the Japanese islands of Okinawa with strong winds, heavy rain, and high surf. One death has been reported, with more than 20 others injured. Wind gusts have topped 100 miles per hour, taking a heavy toll on power lines and cutting off electricity to more than 200,000 households. That's a third of the homes on the island. Rainfall totals are nearing a foot in the last 24 hours. Now, this storm is going to be pulling away from the island over the next 24 hours, so conditions will gradually improve. However, even though this typhoon is expected to weaken considerably, it will unfortunately be steered back towards southwestern Japan, north of Okinawa, by the end of the weekend, Sunday into Monday, which means the flooding and mudslide threats will persist.
And the thing with that is, when the ground softens and they get a lot of earthquakes, there's just so much more damage, folks. So much more damage to the islands. And, we see in Africa splitting almost in half. Africa is a pretty big continent, but it is inching its way, this crack north. And they are, even the um, um, earthquakeologists, these earthquake guys, they're all saying, you know what, it could split all the way through. These earthquakes are tremendous over there. And every time they get an earthquake, the further it splits. All right, so oh boy. All right, so let's, speaking of Africa, they just had one in Massawa, 4.4. So let's see if we can get this. See if we get this up. Hey, look at there. It's delayed, but it's getting up there. Okay, there are swarms. Now I'm going to start off in Niland, California, the 4.1. There was a 4.4 there. Now, hopefully it'll let me go back here. All right. They have had 4 earthquakes in the last 24 hours. They've had 8 earthquakes in the last 7 days, 35 earthquakes in the past 30 days. Now, get this, 752 in the past year. Wow. So let me get back over. So that's a lot of earthquakes for that city. And, are we hearing about it in the news? Not really. Not really. Why not? What is Southern California hiding? It wasn't but a few years ago that the La Brea tar pits, they got tar pits there, were bubbling. And they say they're still hot and still at a low bubble. They're not coming up in the streets anymore, is what I'm hearing, but they are bubbling. And they said this has been continuous for at least 10 years now, where it wasn't before. Now we even see that in Yellowstone, where their clay pools are bubbling. And they said they've recently started over the last 4 to 6 years. Old Faithful is rising. Something big. You almost wonder, is it going to be Yellowstone that's going to blow as a severe volcano? Is it going to be a 7 to an 8 earthquake somewhere along California or the San Andreas fault line? We don't know. Um, Karen just got allergy shots for all of us. I hope she got it for me too. Boy, it's horrible here. Um, it's been dry, but the pollen has been super high here. All right. So the recent earthquake, like I said, was in the edge of Alaska. Um, and so the next, what I want to say is everything is in clusters. So we had Kermadec Islands 4.9, and then we had a cluster of them right around the Fiji region. There's a 5.7 there. But if we go across, we had a 4.4 in Bolivia, 4.1 in Chile, and this is another cluster, and another one in Chile at 4.4. Then the next cluster is all up around Alaska, and all of it's on the fault line. Basically, I think it started at the Kuril Islands at 4.9, and then you go over, and there's a 3.1 in Attic, and then you're looking at a Kutan. That's only a 2.5, but then we start seeing it go back up to threes in the Gulf, then a 3.2, and then we got one way up high, Denali again, a 3.1. So you would think it would grow from there, but it didn't. Where it grew was over in India, a 5.0. And then just right above it in Myanmar, a 4.4. And then, of course, Afghanistan, Farkar, that was a 4.0. Then on the fault line in Greece, a 4.2. So what about the San Andreas? Well, then all of a sudden it got quiet until the big one down in Southern California. So what we have? A 2.5 in Oregon, which isn't very big. And then we had the next one in Morgan Hill. That was a 2.5. And then all of a sudden we see this big cluster down in Southern California and Niland. I'm thinking in between um, Alaska and Southern California, we're going to see something big. And I think that's what Dutchens is saying. I haven't listened to his recent one, but we are looking at something very unusual on the fault line on the San Andreas. And not only that, but the ring of fire and also the heat. The heat, the rain, it has made basically instability. I think that's what the Weather Channel said. Globally, it's just all over because there are Europe that reports their own, Germany reports their own, Russia reports their own, and we're not seeing them on USGS. So is a tremendous amount. Um, um, I'm afraid to move my stuff here to show you um, the red globe. But what I'm thinking is I'm going to have to show the red globe before the end of this week. But I'm kind of waiting to see what's going on. Um, Creatures are piling up on beaches. It's not creatures, I tell you, it's just manatees. Manatees seem to mate on close to the beach as they can. So if something happens, they're still in water and they're able to recoup. Now we're talking sex with manatees. And so they flap around and they look like they're hurting and they make noises. Well, so every year this happens and they normally mate throughout the year, but for some reason they are showing up on public beaches doing this. And so they say it's quite traumatic. It's churning waters and flailing, and their flippers are flying up in the air, and it can attract people thinking there's something wrong, and so they want to go help those that are lying still. Well, they basically they're saying leave them be, and you know what? Quit calling us. We don't want to go out and look at them and have to tell beachgoers what's actually happening, they say. They said, don't call us. So this is Florida beaches. This is happening at. They say also North Carolina, South Carolina beaches also. It doesn't seem to be happening up in the northern beaches. So just let the um, X-rated beaches. Yeah. Too bad they just couldn't show up at the nude beaches. That'd fit right in with the rest of them. But not that nude beaches does that. But William, I think I'm getting myself in trouble. Where's Mary to get me out of this? Karen, don't look. Don't look. I I better quit. Mysterious energy burst. Yeah, let's talk about that. Not with the manatees though. No burst from them. Maybe. Um, early universe puzzles astronomers. Now this is let me. I want to show you guys this. Hopefully it comes up. Um, Um, it's a 16-minute long explosion of energy detected from the beginning of the universe that could result in a gravi- gravitational mirage or something that astronomers can't explain. There it is. And they say it's beautiful. Um, and so that's the energy boost. But the whole thing is they're calling it gamma ray burst. And they're the most powerful explosions in the universe since the Big Bang. And they said now astronomers have discovered one named GRB 220627A that lasted for more than 1,000 seconds. They say just shy of 17 minutes, 18 minutes maybe. It arrived in two powerful bursts. Um, And so this is went into the universe, and they were able to actually catch it. Now, they haven't found any indication of the source of what the burst was out of. It just happened. So they're going to start watching this area to see, is it going to burst again? And what can they discover from it? Because this is mysterious. They have no rhyme or reason why it showed up and did a few bursts for as long as it did, and then stop again. And then it did another burst. So it is a mysterious. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah. It's a graviton boundary layer, is what William says. Um, William is commenting on the manatees. That's why they were laying still, William. I think they were sleeping. They were tired, flapping. We're gonna be on this all the whole show. You watch. It's all gonna be about the manatees flapping their flippers. Boy. Zoomies. Why the heck does your dog get, or your cats even, or animals, they say, get the zoomies? Cats get it, dogs get it. They say even birds will get it where they just flap their wings for no reason in their cages. They bounce off furnitures. They run, they spin, um, they run into things, they slide. And they said this is what vets call the zoomies. So if you got a dog or a cat, and boy, they get them. I know my puppies do. Even the little guy is starting to get zoomies, but my Jewel gets them. Um, so why are these zoomies happening? They say. Well, hopefully we can get this going. Um, Come on. There it is. It's the Zoomies. They do it after baths too. And so the vet says this is their way to let off steam. It's to have some fun. They want you to join in, they say. William, I can't see me running up and down the hallways and sliding and spinning and oh boy. My family would probably film it because they'd have a good laugh. Yeah, they'd put it on Facebook. Yeah. I don't know about this whole joining in with your dog. uh, I don't know. Karen, could you run like that and spin around? And yeah, when us old folks, we just can't do it. I mean, the little kids, yeah, I'll get my grandkids to do it, but me, I think the family would think what they would say, Mom, did you take too much of your medicine for at night? Okay, the Zoomies. And the vet say it's your dog having fun. So don't worry about it, or your cat, because they say the cats get it too. And the cats, it's enjoyment for them, it's exercise. And it blows off a little bit of steam, so they won't claw up your furniture. Okay, boy. Um, you know, there is just too many of these alligator people that want to get something on YouTube. And I think this is what this guy wanted to do. And this is scary because he goes out with a turkey of, a frozen or a thawed out turkey. And um, uh, I think this isn't it. Oh, man. Was hoping they'd show it. Let's see if I reload the page. So he gets this turkey and he offers it to a 10-foot alligator. Now, I thought, okay, maybe it's his pet. I thought this was a pet thing. No, I don't think so. It almost got the guy's leg. What are these? I mean, getting that #1 video on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or wherever they're going to put it, TikTok, is one thing. But to maybe lose your life because you, hopefully this is going to play. Okay, let's see if we can get this up here. Let you see. I'll let you see. Because, seeing is believing and seeing is making your own opinion of what you see. Okay, so hopefully this thing will come up. A worker at a reptile rescue park narrowly escapes. So he was trying something new. And he offered it a turkey. Come on now, picture. Let's see if it comes up. There it is. A dummy? Yeah. It's not worth it. It's not worth it because that alligator could have chomped his leg off easily. An arm, a leg, a foot, a knee down, a head, and it was still going up to the grass. I mean, so this was a place that they do feed them, but you know what? Just throw the turkey over the fence and watch the alligator come up and get it so everybody can get pictures. I don't go to an alligator farm because we got one here. I don't go to the alligator farm to watch them get in a cage with it and be a daredevil. I go there, throw the chicken over the fence. I'm fine getting close-ups. of the alligator coming up, chomp on a chicken. Uh, Nowadays, there's just so many that wants that number one hit on social media. And is it worth it? Is it worth it? Yeah, idiot. And that's what they're basically saying. This guy's an idiot. It's he didn't get the fame he thought he would get. He got called idiot, dummy, stupid. So he didn't get the fame to glory or glory to fame that he thought he was going to get. He got called stupid. Oh boy. So what do you do when you get the bear in the pool though? It's hot outside. You can't really blame the bear. It's been hot. So hopefully we can get this up soon. Um, so this bear is in basically in the side hot tub or the side pool. Um, and he's just out for a little bit of some cool refreshment. Come on. Oh boy. There he is.
Yeah, make a copy. Right on again now. I don't blame you. Oh, you guys give me a green.
Oh, there we got bears. Why is it always bears and alligators? I'd like to see a few iguanas swimming in the pools, or some of these other animals that are known. You never see the 10-foot python um, in the swimming pool. They could be, but this is stuff all we hear is bears and alligators. It's not that that's all I get. I'm not like the big fond of just two different animals. It's just that's what makes it into the news. All right. Beach communities step up bans on tents and umbrellas.
Looking for some shade at the beach? Well, think.
And I think this is Miss Davis that does this one. So here we go.
Twice before packing that tent or umbrella because several beachfront communities have banned large shade covers, citing safety concerns, wildlife protection, and even just public nuisance. For example, Ocean Isle Beach in North Carolina bans canopies, tents, awnings, and oversized umbrellas, in part to protect nesting sea turtles and dune vegetation. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina allows only umbrellas on its shores between Memorial Day and Labor Day, and they can be no larger than 7.5 feet in diameter. Officials say the restriction was put into place after oversized tents, cabanas, and umbrellas were blocking views and access to the water. And officials in Ocean City, Maryland are considering a shade ordinance after multiple complaints this summer about oversized tents. The laws and bans can be controversial. Some beach neighbors welcome the ban because it prevents tourists from taking over their local beaches. Others have tried to get their city councils to overturn or amend their laws, saying it puts taxpayers at greater risk of sunburn, skin cancer, and heat-related illness.
Oh boy. No more, don't do it. Umbrellas. Did you hear him say sea turtles? Now, if you stuck your umbrella down and it crushed some eggs, yeah, but they didn't even say they're finding crushed eggs. And then they said, oh, it's blocking the views, and it's the locals that are complaining. Well, so now they're gonna do away with umbrellas on the beaches. Karen, when we were out there, we didn't have an umbrella, and they said tourist. As many of us that were there for that vacation, nobody had umbrellas. That cost, and then we have to worry about how we get it back home. And if they're flying there, how do they get the umbrella home? I think that's a farce. I'm gonna claim them as a misinformation there, that tourists are doing it. Now I could see if they're driving into town or visiting family, but for them to fly in or drive in and bring this oversized umbrella that's blocking the view of beachgoers. I just don't see that happening. All right. Um, oh, here we go. Extra microplastic um, in food when microwaved. You know where this is going. Now, this one is Miss Davis. I thought it was the last one, but Miss Davis is the one that's going to do this one. What happens when we microwave? In those plastic dishes, they just say leave it in there and you microwave them. Did you ever think that those plastics could get into your food?
Microwave plastics left one researcher, quote, terrified. Microplastics and nanoplastics leach into food and drinks in plastic containers no matter how they are stored. But one experiment found that roughly 7 times the amount of microplastics and more than 47 times the amount of nanoplastics were released when microwaved compared to refrigeration. The study used containers the FDA labeled as microwave safe. The study's lead researcher said he was terrified when he looked under the microscope and saw the amount of microplastics. The effect of microplastics on human health isn't clear. A previous study found that exposure could cause inflammation and cell death. However, the World Health Organization says information is insufficient to draw firm conclusions about their toxicity or the physical hazard they pose.
Man, oh man, microplastics. So, I always remove all my stuff from the containers. That always concerned me because they get real soft. And then sometimes if it's, cheaper food or, the fast food place, it starts tasting like container. I don't know if you ever noticed that. And if it does, don't cook it in that stuff no more. Try to put it on a separate dish. If you can, a paper towel, a thick paper towel wrapped around. Get it out of the plastics, that soft plastic that goes around a lot of these foods. Um, um, Rare Jamestown Canyon virus reported in Detroit. And this is from mosquitoes, folks. This is starting to become quite a pandemic with mosquitoes. And more people are getting infections or diseases from the mosquitoes. And they say a lot of it's from South America or from uh, uh, Africa. And so they say that they don't see anything coming from Canada because it's a colder climate, but they do see a lot of it from Mexico and Central and South America. And it's causing more people to come down with viruses from the mosquito. So start spraying. Don't if you notice a lot of mosquitoes, find the source, and they say spray and get rid of it because you never know. One bite, it could be the virus. Lizard. Oh boy, I love this one. I don't know. Now, I found this at Military Times and I thought, and I read it and I looked at it and I was like, this can't be real. Somebody's pulling it. This must be, there's a one news page that does a lot of, it's not really true, but they report on weird news. Lizard Force might be the most elite military unit. Um, um, Now, they say astonishing. This started in 2013 with a rumor that the United States population believed there was lizard people in charge of our government. Now, I'm not gonna put anybody down. If you want to believe that, that's fine. And they say that they have put them into the military, and we have an elite military force. So, boy, wait till you guys see these pictures. Um, so, um, oh boy, if they come, I hope they come up. There you go. Yeah, lizard unit. William, what do you think? I almost pulled it for our show later, but then I was laughing so hard, I couldn't even think about putting it on our World War III report. Well, here we go. Look, these are lizard guys in the desert. Maybe it was Desert Storm. I don't know, folks. This is just, uh, there are people that seriously believe this, okay? So you can't kick them. You got to kind of, oh boy, look at this guy. Oh, yeah, yeah. Karen, stop laughing. I don't know if Karen's going to laugh or she's going to throw popcorn and laughter at this stuff. Um, you just got to kind of, so this is in 2013, um, the lizard. And a lot of people believe it. I know David Icke is his name, Ike. Now he believes in lizard people. And I don't know how he proves it or shows it. I have not been keen on lizard people. Now, I mean, I've seen the lizards in Florida, the iguanas. uh, Looks like Rex, Susan said. Um, uh, William's glad I bet William's glad I'm not putting it on the World War III show. I'm not laughing at you folks, okay? If you believe this, this could be true. We could have lizards in the military. Um, um, so this guy is sharing them on the social media, and he truly believes in this, and he is even claiming some battles that have been won, but it's not really saying what battles, except for we have lizard military. Oh boy. Okay, so four, um, you lost the four. What the four? What? I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know because you got to take these lizard people, aliens have been around since I think the 70s. And people strongly believe that the aliens are either grays or lizards. Now, when I went to the Steve Quayle conference, they had a UFO guy there, and he spoke on it briefly, just a little bit. And it was just basically what David Icks or Ike. Is it Ike? David Ike? I think that's what it is, not Icks, Ike's. Um, it's basically his research. Now, I don't know I haven't looked into it because the whole UFO thing is kind of, I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see. I've investigated it, and yeah, there's been some craft that's been hidden from the public. And I listened to the guy very intently at the Quail um, conference, and he has got some pictures that show there's only certain kinds that they really do believe that they can't debunk. So, but not the lizard people and Nordics. Yeah, Greys, reptilian, and Nordics. Um, all right, so we're down to the funny post. Lessons I've learned. I've learned you cannot make someone love you. All you can do is stalk them and hope they panic or you force them to give in. Yeah. I've learned that no matter how much I care, some people are just a-holes. Oh, yeah. I've learned that it takes years to build up trust and only suspicion, not proof, to destroy it. I've learned that you can get by on charm for about 15 minutes. After that, you'd better have a really big surprise. I've learned you shouldn't compare yourself to others. They are more messed up than you think. I've learned that you can't keep uh, I've learned that you can keep throwing up after you've done think if after you think you're finished. There you go. Boy, I was for some reason a mouthful. I've learned that sometimes people you expect to kick you when you're down will be the ones who do. I've learned that we don't have to ditch bad friends because their dysfunction makes us feel better about ourselves. I've learned that people you care most about in life are taken from you way too soon, and all the less important ones just never seem to go away. And I've learned to say, screw them if they can't take a joke. Yes. And with that, subscribe, hit the like button, follow us, and ring my bell. And keep that bell rung because it does drop us from your subscriptions and won't notify you. All right, folks, have a wonderful evening. Happy Wednesday. Well, let's call it Camel Day. But forget the hump day. They just been doing this whole camel thing forever. That my granddaughter says it's Camel Day on Wednesdays. I say it's Wednesday. She says Camel Day. Yes, they've done convinced the younger generation it's Camel Day, not Hump Day. All right, folks, come on back in a few minutes for me and William with the World War III report. And thanks for watching. God bless.